I'm trying to be great, and I'm on my way. Way up, way up, way up. It's never too late, and I'm on my way.
I'ma leave my mark. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set.
With so much negativity being yielded at the youth of our nation, it seems hard to find any signs of a bright future. Coming from a legendary past, the new generation of Bahamians seek to take this nation to heights it's never seen. That's where the youth perspective comes in. We seek to display tomorrow's leaders in every facet of society. Each show will focus on today's pace setters, trendsetters, movers and shakers, and the next generation of great, impactful Bahamians. We seek to uplift, motivate, and encourage our listeners. Tune in as we address issues of importance with wisdom and intelligence, all from the youth perspective.
There's a spirit of unity deep inside, compelling me to stand as one and take you by the hand. Together, my brother, from a different land, joining our hearts, joining our voices, joining our minds in global unity. Oh, eh, oh, ah. Oh, eh, oh. Oh, eh, oh. Oh, eh, oh, ah. Oh, eh, oh, ah. Oh, eh, oh. Oh, eh, oh. Though unique in our ways, we should always try to respect one another and do what's right. The world depends on us to always win and be the champion and never give in. Join in our hearts, join in our voices, join in our minds in global unity. Here is a friendship, here is a smile that stands forever through the test of times. We've worked hard to get here, now we've arrived to show the whole wide world that we're ready to go.
And we're back. Welcome to another edition of the Youth Perspective in this Youth Month. So thankful that you're joining us yet again this evening. And don't forget, we come your way each and every Saturday right here on the station that you're listening to. You can catch all these episodes on YouTube. Just look up The Youth Perspective or Keshagen J. Adderley. All right. And of course, I have a great guest joining me, and we have lots to talk about. And of course, we're hoping to bring some relief to some young persons as they're listening in to The Youth Perspective this evening. So get close up to the radio, get comfortable, get relaxed, and of course, let's jump into the conversation. Joining me on this edition of The Youth Perspective is the one and only Miss Tanya McFall. How you doing?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me back here, Keshagen. It's always a pleasure to be here with you as we impact the nation.
Yeah, I love it. And it is always great to have you, particularly during this Youth Month, and being able to just bring some relief, bring some encouragement, bring some upliftment to the young people out there and the younger longer as well.
And the young at heart. We can't forget.
And the young at heart. Right. We can't forget about it. And of course, when you shared with me the vision and what you were doing, I just thought it was just so impactful and so powerful that I had to bring you on to share with the individuals and the listening audience.
And I thank you again for that. And one thing I can say about Keshagen, I remember he had reminded me in our last show about talking about virtual education.
Yes.
I don't know if he was working in the prophetic or what, because a year to that date, I began working on virtual education with just absolutely no memory of the conversation that we had. And today, my company and I, Global Conversations Development Center, we have joined forces with American High School to launch American High School Caribbean, and which is a virtual education platform where our Bahamians and persons from anywhere in the world on any device are able to obtain an American diploma at any time. And some of the benefits are, of course, with the American diploma, you have more opportunities or greater access to opportunities educationally, for the military aspects, and even for your career-wise. And we know the struggles of our brothers and sisters in Abaco and Grand Bahama, what they've faced. And we decided to offer a few scholarships for our students here in the country. And knowing that Keshagen is one of the young persons who reaches anyone through anywhere, because I'm sure everyone knows by now that you're probably featured in probably 10 countries by now. And
Indeed.
being that voice to change and to help our people, I'm glad to have the opportunity, and I thank you for the opportunity for us to get that message out, to remind persons that all is not lost, and there is a complement to what we have in our current educational system here in the Bahamas.
Right. And, it's so powerful because, we have young persons right now who are displaced. And the minister, I think, recently talked about, what are we going to do with these students in Freeport, in Grand Bahama? They haven't went to school in weeks.
Right.
And it may be that the semester may have to be lengthened, or there's going to have to be something so that they can be able to catch up. But with what you're promoting right now, parents can be able to engage their kids and be able to catch them up, and so that they can start the learning process, because it brings a sense of normalcy based on what they would have went through. And normalcy is good for young persons to kind of feel like their life is getting back on track just a bit.
Definitely. And one of our favorite devices, no matter what your age, is your cell phone.
Oh, yes, it is.
Whether your cell phone, your tablet, or your laptop, we know that these devices, they can help. They can create their vehicles for creation and productivity. So we're encouraging persons to take advantage of the opportunity. With our portal, we have a student help portal that's 24 hours, 7 days a week. At any time, if there's something that you have an issue with or you can't undo, let's look at algebra, for example. Algebra may not have been some of our favorite topics, or maybe our parents may not have remembered how to formulate and execute an algebraic equation.
Right.
So a student has the opportunity at any time of the day to send a message to a teacher and say, hey, I don't remember X plus Y equal MC QRS, whatever it is. Right? And so students have that opportunity. In addition, the parents have the opportunity to monitor what their children are doing. So if it is that Keshagen, yes, I'm going to use Keshagen as an example. If Cash knew he was supposed to be on level 10 of his biology biology course, and he's only on level 1, your parents now, Mr. and Mrs. Adderley, have the opportunity to go and look to see what Keshagen was doing.
Right.
And they have the opportunity to have that conversation with Keshagen. In addition to that, there are also counselors available who will call students, find out how they're doing, find out about their progress, and even give guidance towards their future careers. We've also partnered with Bridget Francis International College Planning, who has, in 1 year, Bridget has been able to get more than 200 Bahamian student scholarships abroad. So we have the opportunity to help our students in the high school arena and now into the college level. And these are important aspects of development. We always talk about preparing our people for the global marketplace, not the global marketplace that's coming, but rather the global marketplace that's here. And so it does not matter where you are in the world. And what another thing that we can take into consideration, sometimes things happen to our children. Unfortunately, sometimes our kids are sick, they're unable to go to school, or sometimes they misbehave and they get a little detention or suspension. We know the truth, right? But at that opportunity, we also have the opportunity for our children to continue that education and to better prepare themselves. So they also have the opportunity to participate in classes that are Bahamian based and based on the Ministry of Education curriculum. So basically you have the best of both worlds.
Yes.
And upon completing, you can imagine graduating from your local school here in the Bahamas with your diploma, and in addition to that, you have the opportunity to graduate with an American diploma that's accredited internationally. So we're encouraging persons that if you're interested in signing up your children, contact Cash. Contact us. if you can't reach us, you can reach him.
Yeah.
Our contacts are 801-3197, 801-3197. We've already had some interest from students that are in Grand Bahama.
Yeah.
And so we want to get more persons involved. And even if you are not a displaced student, maybe you're a parent who wants the same opportunity for your children here in wherever you are in the Bahamas, or if you're listening throughout Florida or Turks and Caicos, wherever whatever 10 countries Cash Show is being featured in, you can always give us a call or send us an email, and let's continue to push forward.
And a success tip I want to drop in here is that everybody needs a mentor. They need somebody to help them, guide them, lead them. And of course, this portal, I think, works very well for that particular frame. All right. And like she said, they have the counselors and the teachers. And one thing that's also important to note is that when persons and parents think about children educating and schooling in the States, they think about like athletics. Right. And so we just want to put that out there, that it's not about just athletics, but it's about opportunities.
Right. Yeah. And we also have an athletic track as well, where students who are interested in pursuing athletic careers, they have the opportunity where they're trained by elite academies, and they can also have the opportunity to study at the meantime. So you're balancing both, which is important. And one of the benefits of the virtual education program is everybody does not learn the same way.
Right. Very important. Very important.
Now, I'm an early bird now, but in school I was not an early bird. So I preferred the late night, writing papers starting at 11 p.m. to go to working till 2, 3 in the morning, and then getting up and going for school. Yeah. That may have been my method.
Let me tell you a story. On that same line, when I transitioned out of high school and I went to COB, now UB, we had this math class that started at about, I think, 8 a.m.
I didn't believe in going to those classes.
Well, see, what happened is I registered late, all right? So that's a little success tip for those of there signing up for UB in January. Don't register late.
Go early.
Yeah, go early. Go now, in fact. But yeah, and the teacher would lock the door at 8:05.
Wow, that's serious.
So, and she would have a test at the beginning of the class.
She wasn't safe.
Oh, no, she wasn't safe. So I'm telling you, if you came late, and I would catch the bus at that time because my parents couldn't drop me at that time, and so I would always get to class late, and I would always miss the test. And so
I could see that.
Yeah. And so, needless to say, I had to do that course again. But what I wanted to say is that for persons who you say not early risers. Some persons they learn better in the afternoon. Some persons they like to be up late at night, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock a.m. That's when they work best. And so this type of virtual learning is great for them, because then they could learn at whatever's their best time, or if they're working.
And see,
if they have a job.
Exactly, because it's self-paced, and we have the opportunity to allow students to go back. Maybe there's something they didn't remember, and it's because the platform is very interactive, it's eye-catching. All your textbooks that you need, all the materials that you need, is already on the platform. So parents don't have to worry about going to purchase $60 and $200, $300 textbooks
Right.
that they're probably never going to use or going to use for the first two weeks of class.
Right.
So that's another cost-saving initiative. And at the end of the day, what we're pushing for, as we always do, Cash, we're pushing for the betterment and the improvement and the amelioration of our country.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that is what we're focusing on. We don't care about your background, your socioeconomic background. That's not the issue here. What we're looking at is how we're going to push our youth, our young at heart, and how we're going to make the Bahamas that number one place that we put us back in that number one place that we used to be. Yeah, we're still in that. We still remain in number one in many other areas, but there's so many more that we have. And Cash always talks about the talent, the gifts, the creativity that's in our country, and we underestimate it still. We're still underestimating ourselves. We look at the countries around us and say, hey, well, they have X, Y, and Z. Why can't you do it? Why can't you? If I would have, I am of the belief that persons come to this country, they see ideas, we take it for granted, and they take it home and make it a multi-billion dollar business.
I agree with you.
So it's time we get serious about ourselves and create opportunities for others. No more friends, lovers, and family.
Right.
Let's create this country where the wealth is actually common.
Yes, I agree with you. And I had this conversation with Pastor Ricardo Miller while he was here, and he had this wonderful event this past month. And we talked about how just the pace of technology and just the pace of what we were doing things changed. They changed so rapidly, and education has changed as well. And so we can't believe that the old methods, and granted, they worked maybe 20 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, but things are evolving. Our children are different. I remember when my son was about maybe 1 year old, he picked up my phone and he just immediately started swiping.
I was about to say that same example.
At 1 year old, yeah.
Because if you think about it, kids are born with their phones in their hands.
Yeah.
It's like they just have this gift, this knack.
It's just innate.
I watch Minnie. She just goes on Pinterest and she's like, I think I want a unicorn room. She just goes on Pinterest, looks for what she wants. Yeah. Or she was talking about crab cakes. Yeah. So she was looking for a crab cake recipe and she's ready to make it.
Oh, wow.
So we know that we know the importance of technology in our day and time. Yeah. Let's look at banking in the country, the pros and the cons. But that's a different story. Yeah. At one point we just used to just put our check in it, or we had to wait on the long lines. Unfortunately, some banks still try to make you wait on long lines. But when you're able to track your money, you're able to see when they're taking money, when they shouldn't be taking money. But that's a different story for another day. Right. And so you can access your account from anywhere in the world. You can make transfers anywhere in the world. We have the same opportunity to get the opportunity to get creative in technology in this country. Right. Let's look at those. I remember that Grand Bahama was supposed to be that internet port, that technology hub. It's still possible. Yes, there are a lot of things that's going to have to change, but innovation can still thrive in the Bahamas.
I believe it as well. Now, before we let you go and before we get ready to wrap up, just give us the contact information once again for persons who want to get in contact. They want to find out more information so they can figure out how they can engage their children or child in this virtual learning.
So you can contact us at Global Conversations Development Center at 801-3197, or you can check us on Facebook, Global Conversations Development Center, Centre, CENTRE, the British way. Or you can email us at globalconversations with an ending with an S 242 at gmail. Or if you can't reach us those methods, call Cash.
Just get in contact with me, and I got all information. Before we let you go, any closing comments for the listening audience?
I just want I want us to be cognizant of, as best as we can, of those who've already experienced trauma of any type, whether it was a health trauma, whether it's even, as we mentioned, the displacement with Hurricane Dorian. Let's try to be considerate of what we say, how we say, and to allow people to have their space to breathe and to know when to talk and when not to talk. Let's not try to compile on people. I know what you've been through. No, you don't.
Wow.
That's the fact. You don't. But be that listening ear. You can just sit down with an individual and don't say anything at all. And your mere presence can make a difference.
Yeah. And you know what's powerful about this is that not only are you providing a virtual learning platform in which persons can access it from anywhere around the world, but also for those from Freeport and Abaco, they are able to get the free scholarships.
Yes, and we want to reiterate, like you always say, free. These there are only 30 free scholarships available for persons from Grand Bahama and Abaco. Yes, Grand Bahama and Abaco. There are 30 scholarships that are available, and we want you to take this opportunity. We always believe in creating waves, Cash. This is something that we always talk about. We always talk about empowering people and setting the paths, being pioneers in various paths. So this is the opportunity for our students to take advantage of this. There's so many benefits, and it's such a wonderful experience that I don't want anyone to take this for granted. That's how serious it is. So, and you're going to have a commitment for at least 1 year. If you have to be serious about it, because I would not want this opportunity to go wasted when someone else could have really taken advantage of it and set their path for life, improve their own status of living. And so we want to reiterate, there are 30 free scholarships available for Grand Bahama and Abaco. Now, persons throughout the islands and throughout all the countries that are listening, if you are still interested in the program, yes, you have the opportunity. However, you will have to pay.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
I got you.
And but we're giving particular emphasis on Grand Bahama and Abaco because we want to give back.
Yeah,
we know that you've been through a lot. Let us help you to get to the place that you need to be. This is an obstacle, a stepping stone. And it can be life-changing for the better if we look in it that way. It's all about how we perceive situations as well. We can either let Dorian hold us back or push us forward to our greater purpose.
What's so powerful is that I'll leave this quote for the young persons or parents, whoever listening to really encapsulate this moment right here. One of my favorite motivational speakers, Dr. Eric Thomas, he said that we have to take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime in the lifetime of the opportunity.
Boom shakalaka.
There you go.
That was good. I like that.
We thank you so much for joining us on this edition of The Youth Perspective. Ms. Tanya McFall, as we talked about virtual learning, as we talked about those who were affected in Freeport and Grand Bahama. Freeport.
It's like Miami and Orlando.
As we talk about those persons who were affected in Freeport and Abaco, and how we can be able to start to bridge back to a life where it's getting back to what they were used to in terms of their learning. And so we thank you for joining us, and make sure to stick around. We got more great shows left for you. Make sure you don't touch your dial. This is The Youth Perspective. We'll see you on the next one.
Come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. And I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. I don't feel no waste time. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be I get weak, but I know my help comes from you, Lord. You said you'd never leave me, so I'm putting my trust in you, 'cause after all you've done for me, I don't believe you brought me this far to leave me. I don't believe you brought me this far to leave me.
Sometimes I say to myself, why am I still here? 'Cause when I think of the life I've lived, I'm only here by His grace. But my friends, I want to tell you that the Lord, He has kept me. And I don't believe He would bring me this far and leave me. No, well, I don't believe He would bring me this far and leave me.
I don't feel no waste time.
I've come too far.
Come too far from where
I've come too far.
started from.
Where I started from.
'Cause nobody told me that this road would be easy. And I don't believe He's brought
He
me
would bring me this far
to leave
and leave me. Nobody told me. I don't believe.
He's brought me this far to leave me.
I don't believe He would bring me.
Don't believe.
This far and leave me.
No, He won't. Yeah, yeah.
If anybody asks you, tell them that I said,
If they ask,
I
if they ask, if they ask,
I don't believe
I don't believe.
He bring me this far
don't
and leave me.
No, no, no.
Not the God that I serve.
Not the God that I serve.
He brought me too far, too
He's
far.
brought me. He's brought me.
I'm trying to be great, and I'm on my way, way up, way up, way up. It's never too late, and I'm on my way.
I'ma leave my mark. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. Ready, set,
I hope you enjoyed another edition of The Youth Perspective. Stay tuned for more interviews, more in-depth conversation, great music as we seek to encourage, empower, impact, and uplift our youth of this nation. Here on The Youth Perspective, we'll see you next time right here on The Youth Perspective with Keshagen.